All right, gentlemen, so I'm opening back up into Vectornator. I'm going to my Martin space file. And now that we've finished part one, which was the background and the sphere, I want to come up here and in layer 2 where my sphere is located, I want to tap on that and I want to call that sphere. So let's label it. So I tapped slowly twice on that layer and it let me do that. And then I want to lock it because I don't want anything to violate my sphere at the moment. I'm going to start a new layer for our cube. All right, and let's start a cube. I'm going to create a new color here. Let me find something solid at the moment. We can always make it a gradient later. Let's see, we've done red. Let's do something in maybe something blue-ish. So let me pick a crazy blue color. Let's go with a nice bright blue like that. All right, so I've got a blue color chosen, and I'm going to choose to work with the rectangle tool. And I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side, and I'm going to draw myself a rectangle, or something that looks a little square-ish, though, doesn't it? All right, I'm going to use my move tool, move him over this way a little bit. So he's a little bit towards the center. Now I'm going to use my direct selection tool to adjust the handles or the little nodes, because I want this side of the cube's wall to look like it's going back into the space on the left-hand side here. So it feels like it's getting a little bit more narrow as it comes back. Okay, so it's going away from me. Cool. Now I'm going to draw another side. Let's see, I'm going to use that same rectangle. I'm going to start at the top of this one here. Bum-ba-da-da. All right, I'm going to inch him up a smidge. I'm pretty close. All right, now I'm going to use my direct selection over here to kind of move those nodes up. So look how we look like we have two sides that are kind of going away from us right now, right? Isn't that crazy? Okay, so let's add a little bit more excitement to them. We need them to change in color or value. So I'm going to click back on my first rectangle. All right, this is where we want to add our gradient. So let me click gradient. Of course, it filled it with the wrong color, so I'm going to throw my blue back on there. There's my blue. All right, now I don't really want that to go to super dark right now, because it's going to be on the side where most of the light is at. So I think I need to change this to something a little less dark when it comes to the blue family. So see how it just kind of has a very subtle change to it? Let's see, I like that better down there. All right. I might even change this color blue. Let's make this one a little bit lighter. There we go. So I've got sort of a light blue to sort of the darker blue, just a little bit. I might even, let's adapt that just even a little bit more. Let's click on this guy, and I'm going to come up a little bit. There we go. Now, off to the other side. Let's go. Now, this side is much darker. It is away from the light, okay? So that means our blue needs to be significantly darker when we work with the gradient, okay? That means over here, I need to start with something darker. And then on the other side, I need to be even darker. Look at that. It's going to be really dark, okay? Now this is where I can play with my little diagonals, my little gradient nodes, the orange ones, so I make sure that my gradient is going in the right angle that I want, okay? I might even make that a little bit darker still, I think. I'm going to come down here. There we go. There's nice and rich. All right, now we need to draw the top of the box. And this is going to be a completely different tool. You know how we started to use the pen tool in class a bit? I'm going to come up here to our pen tool. Boop. And I'm going to click on the 3 corners that we know exist right now of our box. I'm going to click here, to here, to here, okay? And then I'm going to click up here somewhere, and then back to where I started. You have to finish where we started. So we started in this left-hand corner, so I went to the right, and then to the right, and then I went up, and then I came all the way back over to the first anchor point or node that we started with. Cool? Now, if you think it looks kind of wonky or silly, you can always come in and go, okay, I'm going to move the anchor point around so that the top of this lid feels flat. Okay, now I need to change the gradient on this lid because the lid is receiving some light. Okay, that means the top part of this is going to be a little lighter. Now I'm going to swap the places of these here so that my light is more on the left hand side. I might even come up a little bit lighter. There we go. So we have a lid that looks a little bit lighter to darker. Looky there, we got ourselves a cube. All right, much like we did with the other one, we need to have some kind of a gradient or a shadow on the table. All right, so I need to come back over here, and I'm going to use the pen tool again, but I'm going to use a dark gray color. No gradient at the moment. Let's just do the dark gray. There we go. We got a 3F, 3D kind of a gray. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here with my pen tool selected, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to go the same diagonal that the wall is. It's like I'm coming out from the wall, okay, from that left-hand wall of my cube. I'm now going to go up diagonally off the page, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to go off the page a little bit further. Then I'm going to come back on the page, and then I'm come back over here. So I kind of create this rectangle laying down on the ground. Pardon me. Okay, I think I'm going to make that gray even darker. Let's even just kind of go to almost black. Okay, now I am going to make it a gradient. Let's see. Well, that means I need to go here, needs to be almost black, and out here needs to be something in a gray, a lighter gray. Okay, and then I'm going to come down to shadow and opacity, because we did this before with our other shadow, and I'm going to kind of lessen its opacity so we see a little bit of the table green come through. Okay, and then we're going to come back here to the blur land. We did this with the other one too. We want to fuzz it or blur it a little bit. I still think I can go darker. Let's come down in here to total black. Yeah. All right, so we've got total black to light to medium gray. All right. Now check that out. Okay, now I'm going to move that. Oops, I didn't mean to draw that. Come back. All right, I'm going to move this further back. There we go. Now I need to send that to the back, right? Because right now it's kind of fuzzing up on my cube. So I need to go to Arrange and Send to the back. Ta-da! Okay, we basically have cube number 2. Okay, so now your goal is going to be to arrange either 2 cubes and 3 spheres, or 2 spheres and 3 cubes around in this page area to give us the feeling of depth and space. Go back to your small videos or the notes that they gave you on the small videos. There's 5 to 6 different ways that we can show space happening. So keep some of those in mind and purposefully try for 1 or 2 of them. You're going to need to tell me how you've achieved the feeling of space, but to do that we need to group things together. Okay, so here's how we're going to group. I have my selection tool chosen. This is just like being on the computer in that I could drag around the cube and its shadow, okay, and I can choose Arrange, Group, okay. Now when you group it together, notice how the shadow goes back to a hard edge, okay. Once we ungroup it where we get things placed where you like them, you can ungroup it and it goes back to its nice fuzzy soft values, okay. Same thing on the sphere. Currently the sphere is locked, so the reflection on the sphere and the shadow both look hard edge right now, not fuzzy or blurred, even though we know we use the blur feature on it. That's just sort of a temporary hold because it's been locked. All right, so I could click on this and I could say, okay, I want to duplicate this cube. Ta-da, it duped it, okay? I could shrink it and we have a smaller box. I could make it more narrow. We have a narrow box. I can make it a tall, skinny box, okay? So you can alter or change some of the features about this. Now keep in mind, if you change it, looky here on the bottom, the shadow's kind of wonky on this one, right? So let me click on this and I will ungroup it temporarily. Ba-doop, look how the fuzz came back. All right. I can then click on my little nodes here and I can move my little nodes out so that they look like they're supposed to. Okay. And then I could come back and I could regroup that again. Okay. Or regroup this part, okay, so I can group it and then I can keep moving it around, okay. Same thing happens with your sphere. You can group it, okay. You'll have to come up here and you'll need to unlock that layer. I would lock this one back again. You're welcome to copy things to other layers. Haha. So right now I currently have this guy is selected, this cube, so I could go arrange, edit, copy, and I could go over here to the sphere layer. What if I want it to be on the spheres layer momentarily? Click here, and then I can go to edit, paste, and look, it shows up on that layer. See how it's in front of that one, but I could arrange it to be Can we send it to the back? Oh, it's not sending to the back. No, not a demo. Okay, we're on there. Well, I see he's on there. Okay, he's there. Let's click on this one here. Can we send this one to the front? Oop, I didn't mean to do that one. Let's see if we can send him to the front. Well, he's not coming to the front. I'm not sure why. We'll have to see here. My arranging is not working in this one. I do not know. I might have to reboot my iPad. So play around with some of the arrangements on your layers and see how well they work for you. So you can bring them to different layers if you want to. Remember, I got this one. They're both unlocked right now. But we want some feeling of space, whether it's through placement, through size change. You can even change if you want to unlock your background and manipulate your background slightly. What if you want this to be up a little bit higher or lower? Let me move this one here. What if we want this to move and you want a little bit more space off in the distance? Totally doable. That gives you a little bit more room to play with your objects to maybe give a feeling of space, okay? So ungrouping these things takes them back, just a reminder, ungrouping will take them back to their original fuzzy, nice, softer, there we go. So once you're all done and you've got things placed, like I said, you either got like 3 of one shape and 2 of another, okay? 5 is a wonderful odd number to kind of play with when you're working with a composition of some kind, all right? You might even find that you need to adjust a little bit of the shadows. If you feel like the ones up closer here need to be lighter even than the ones in the back, you can do that. So play around with the feeling of your lights and your darks. Okay, let me ungroup that guy back there. He's the only one who's not ungrouped yet. All right, so once you get yourself set, remember you're going to be going to the up send menu, and you want to save as a JPEG, and then you want to save as a SVG, okay? And you want to put those into your Google